Good morning, I'm Craig DeGrelli. It's Friday, April 18th, 2025, and these are your Unbiased Updates. A new development involving Abrego Garcia, what a federal appeals court has now directed the Trump administration to do, and what the president of El Salvador is saying about Garcia's time in a mega prison. Also, the mass shooting at Florida State University. 2 dead, others injured. What we know about the suspect, who's a student, and where he supposedly got one of the guns.
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world, these are today's Unbiased Updates.
A federal appeals court has rejected a bid by the Trump administration to block an order directing it to facilitate the return of a mistakenly deported Maryland man. In their ruling, a panel of judges said the administration was attempting to claim, quote, a right to stash away residents of this country in foreign prisons without the semblance of due process. The ruling is related to the case of Abrego Garcia, who is being held in a notorious El Salvador mega prison after he was deported there last month, despite a 2019 court order barring his deportation to his home country. The Trump administration alleges Abrego Garcia is a member of the gang MS-13. Police reports made public this week indicate that investigators in Maryland flagged him as a gang member in 2019 due to his clothing and his association with members of MS-13. His lawyers deny he has gang ties. President Trump, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and other White House officials claim they cannot return him, even though the U.S. Supreme Court ordered the government to facilitate his release last week. Bondi has stated he's from El Salvador, he's in El Salvador, he's not coming back. This all comes as Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen met with Abrego Garcia Thursday in El Salvador, sharing a photo on social media. Van Hollen has been in the country for 2 days, pushing for Abrego Garcia's release. El Salvador President Nayib Bukele, who said during a White House meeting earlier this week he would not return Abrego Garcia to the United States, also posted pictures of the meeting with Van Hollen on social media, saying now that Abrego Garcia has been confirmed healthy, he gets the honor of staying in El Salvador's custody. 2 people are dead and 6 others injured this morning after a shooting on the Florida State University campus in Tallahassee on Thursday. Authorities say the shooter was 20-year-old student Phoenix Eichner, who is the stepson of a Leon County Sheriff's deputy. The gunfire happened just outside the student union, sending many students hiding for cover. One teacher even used a piano to barricade the door to her classroom. Police say Eichner was taken into custody after officers shot and wounded him. Reports indicate he has invoked his right to remain silent, and a motive has not yet been released. Investigators say Eichner used his stepmother's former service weapon, which she now owns, as a personal handgun. They found that gun at the scene. They say he was also armed with a shotgun. Police say the 2 people who were killed were not FSU students. After the shooting, President Trump was asked by reporters if he sees a need for any changes in gun laws. Here's what he had to say.
Look, I'm a big advocate of the Second Amendment. I have been from the beginning. I protected it. And these things are terrible. But the gun doesn't do the shooting. The people do. It's, a phrase that's used probably too often. I will tell you that it's a shame.
The injured victims are all in fair condition this morning. FSU has canceled all classes and events for today, and sporting events are canceled through Sunday. The U.S. Supreme Court will hear arguments over President Trump's executive order ending birthright citizenship in the United States. Straight Arrow News reporter Lauren Keenan has details on a rare May hearing for the court, the legal arguments, and what's at stake.
The 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution states, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. On the day of Trump's inauguration, he signed an executive order titled Protecting the Meaning and Value of American Citizenship, asserting the 14th Amendment has never been interpreted to extend citizenship universally to everyone born within the United States. Trump's executive order states people born on U.S. soil to mothers and fathers who were unlawfully present in the country, as well as those born to mothers who are in the country legally, whether on a work or tourist visa, should not automatically become U.S. citizens. Several legal challenges arose from Trump's Birthright citizenship executive order, including in Maryland, Massachusetts, and Washington state. And district court judges in all three states ruled to block Trump's plan from taking effect. A district court judge in Massachusetts eventually put Trump's order on hold nationwide. The Trump administration asked the high court last month to intervene, and the justices have agreed. However, they're leaving the lower court's rulings in place for now. Justices will hear arguments on May 15th, with a decision expected in June or July.
While talking to reporters at the White House on Thursday, President Trump said he believes the 14th Amendment was directed only at former slaves, saying, "If you look at it that way, we will win." A federal grand jury in New York has indicted the man accused of gunning down the CEO of United Healthcare on a New York City sidewalk late last year. The 4-count indictment against Luigi Mangione includes murder, a charge that could lead to the death penalty. Investigators believe he stalked CEO Brian Thompson outside the Hilton in Midtown Manhattan, then shot him in the back in early December. Police caught Mangione in Pennsylvania several days later when customers and an employee at a McDonald's recognized him from wanted posters. Attorney General Pam Bondi has already indicated that she intends to seek the death penalty for Mangione. However, the defense has stated that the government intends to kill Mangione as a political stunt. A federal judge says Google violated antitrust laws by creating a monopoly, allowing it to control parts of the online advertising industry. Straight Arrow News reporter Kaylee Carey breaks down what this means for the tech giant and what happens from here.
The case centers on Google's control of the online ad market, the system that decides when ads show up when users visit websites. The court found Google dominated key tools, including ad servers and exchanges, which connect brands with publishers selling space. That control, the judge says, hurt competitors, customers, and the public. In a 115-page decision, the ruling states, in addition to depriving rivals of the ability to compete, this exclusionary conduct substantially harmed Google's publisher customers, the competitive process, and ultimately consumers of information on the open web. Google says that's not the case. In a statement, the company said publishers choose Google's tools because they're both affordable and effective. This all stems from a lawsuit filed in 2023 by the Justice Department and a group of states. They accuse Google of abusing its dominance, especially through its $3 billion purchase of DoubleClick back in 2008, which gave Google a major footprint in the ad tech world. The government says Google tied together its ad server and exchange, making it hard for rivals to compete and locking in publishers who wanted to sell ads. The federal judge wrote, for over a decade, Google has tied its publisher ad service and ad exchange together through contractual policies and technological integration, which enabled the company to establish and protect its monopoly power in these two markets. A strategy federal prosecutors argue helped generate $31 billion in ad revenue in 2023 alone. A second trial is coming where a judge will decide if Google should be broken up, and if so, how. The DOJ told the judge Google should sell its Chrome browser and Google Ad Manager to remedy the situation. This case isn't the only fire Google is trying to extinguish. In a separate ruling in August of last year, another federal judge found Google was also running a monopoly when it comes to search. This case is about more than ads. It's part of a wider push for regulators to focus on reducing the control of big tech companies. The Justice Department has also taken Apple to court, claiming it's created a system that makes it hard for users to switch devices. The Federal Trade Commission has sued Amazon, saying small businesses are taking a hit, while also focusing on Meta for buying up competitors like Instagram and WhatsApp. If the courts side with the government, Google could be forced to sell off major pieces of its business.
Finally this morning, the puck drops on round one of the Stanley Cup playoffs on Saturday. And while a staff poll by the National Hockey League's official website is predicting a Western Conference team will claim hockey's holy grail, it all starts with the Eastern Conference, where the Florida Panthers are the defending champs. Straight Arrow News reporter Chris Francis has a look at what to expect in round one.
The NHL playoffs begin this weekend, so it's time to break down the matchups. You know, you'll find a whiteboard in use at any hockey practice, so I'm using one here to illustrate the Eastern Conference And we'll start with the Canadiens and the Washington Capitals, the 1-versus-8 matchup. Montreal secured the final playoff spot with a win over Carolina in their last game of the season. The Habs' reward is Alex Ovechkin and the top-seeded Capitals, who were quite busy in the past few weeks with the great chase and trying to maintain the form that allowed them to earn 111 points in the season so far. They struggled a bit down the stretch, but hope to flip the switch and make quick work of a young, upset-minded team.
We got to clean some stuff up. There's different guys kind of all over the lineup. Once we get our guys in there for playoffs, we got to make sure that we're playing well together and we're playing detailed, because that's what the playoffs demand.
The next series pits the 3-seed Carolina Hurricanes. I know, this is not a New Jersey Devil, is it? Pardon my artwork. The Hurricanes and Devils. The Hurricanes haven't lost a first-round playoff series since 2020, and they are heavy favorites to win this one, as the Devils will be without star Jack Hughes. New Jersey may have only one advantage in this series. That's in net with goalie Jacob Markstrom. But Jordan Stahl of the Canes says playing at home always gets them fired up.
It's always a pleasure playing in front of this group of fans. They're just so passionate and so loud, and momentum shifts are huge at home, and we ride those as hard as we can. And
you know who else will have home ice advantage in their 7-game series? The Toronto Maple Leafs against the Ottawa Senators in what's known as the Battle of Ontario. My apologies to Leafs fans for that logo there. It's been 21 years since they met in the playoffs. This promises to be a great series with high-scoring players all over the ice and each team loving to attack the net. Ottawa 3-0 in the regular season against Toronto, outscoring the Maple Leafs 9-3. But Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews and company have 51 wins this year, tied for first in the Eastern Conference at this point.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I mean, it's been a long time. Obviously, they're a good young team. They're hungry. They've taken steps as well. So, I think it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. It's good for hockey. Obviously, it's going to be intense. So, I think we're looking forward to it.
All right, and for my final art display, it is the Battle of Florida. The Tampa Bay Lightning with home ice advantage against the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. And the two teams have met in the playoffs 3 of the last 4 seasons. This is the 2nd straight year they've met in the first round. Florida obviously won last season in 5 games. They also split their regular season series. It couldn't be a more even matchup with future Hall of Fame players all over the ice. And star Matthew Tkachuk could make his return to give the Panthers a boost.
I think it's great for hockey in Florida because there's 2 elite teams. Either one of them could win the whole thing. And certainly the eyes in Florida and the fans in both cities will be wired right into it, so it's great for hockey.
All right, I will also be wired in right into that one, as the coach said. Check back Friday for a preview of the Western Conference. We'll have more drawings like this, better hopefully than this. I'll practice. And more great playoff matchups. For Straight Arrow News, I'm Chris Francis.
All right, for my money, as you know, I love hockey. I'm going with the Colorado Avalanche, McKinnon and Makar. Those are your unbiased updates for this Friday. We'll see you back here on Monday. Easter is this Sunday, and if you're celebrating, all the best. Happy Easter. For all of us here at Straight Arrow News, I'm Craig DeGrelli. Have a great day.